Most believe intelligence alone is a shield against failure, unaware that the mind often betrays its owner in the quiet theater of influence. Knowledge can impress, logic can persuade, but neither guarantees control over human behavior. Smart people often assume that truth and reason will bend the world to their will. They do not see that social reality obeys rules far older than intellect. The subtle currents of perception, timing, and status move beneath conscious thought, invisible to those who rely on reason alone. Facts are weightless in a room where perception is currency. Competence is meaningless when visibility is absent, and presence is misaligned. The very traits that make one brilliant can also make one predictable, rigid, and exposed. Intelligence favors clarity, but clarity can be exploited by those who understand ambiguity. The mind that seeks fairness will always underestimate the mind that manipulates perception. Social ecosystems are not logical. They are emotional, symbolic, and hierarchical. To dominate, one must first recognize the invisible architecture of influence. The quietest players often control the loudest stages. People mistake verbosity for power, not realizing that silence commands attention in ways words cannot. Smart people speak too soon, explain too much, and reveal more than they intend. They assume cooperation is granted through reason, ignoring the primal language of respect, threat, and anticipation. Power responds not to fairness, but to control of information and timing. Status is not earned through competence alone. It is negotiated through perception. Emotional intelligence is the silent leverage of those who understand hierarchy without admitting it. Intelligence can be a trap when it blinds one to the rhythm of influence. Social predators read signals that the analytical mind discards as irrelevant. The clever often misinterpret gestures of deference as agreement, revealing their own vulnerability. The unspoken rules of influence are learned early through observation, fear, and mimicry. A single misread glance can unravel arguments stronger than logic itself. People obey authority not because it is correct, but because it signals inevitability. Those who perceive inevitability can manipulate outcomes without confrontation. Intelligence without strategic patience is a sword wielded blindly. Knowledge can overwhelm the thinker, while the socially attuned guide the outcome effortlessly. People underestimate the weight of expectation and the speed at which it shifts allegiances. Timing is invisible until it is violated, and by then, influence has already slipped away. Emotional resonance dictates decisions more than argument or evidence. Fear, desire, and admiration operate below awareness, shaping choices silently. Those who master this layer control the battlefield before it is seen. Silence is not absence. It is a vacuum that draws the unwary into disclosure. Non-reaction is the anchor of dominance, unsettling those who crave feedback. Detachment is a weapon against manipulation, yet it is rarely cultivated. To withhold agreement is to control momentum, and to control momentum is to dictate outcomes. The socially aware leverage subtleties, the brilliant ignore, accumulating influence like invisible wealth. Perception is sculpted, not observed. Those who craft it dictate reality for others. Even truth becomes pliable when framed by authority, confidence, and timing. Manipulation is not chaos. It is a careful alignment of cues, expectations, and reactions. The victim of influence is rarely aware because their mind trusts patterns over principle. Intelligence can be conspicuous, but influence is silent. The smartest person in the room can be the most deceived. Mastery begins with observation, watching without need, listening without reaction. Understanding the shadow of intention is more valuable than dissecting words. Human behavior is a negotiation of energy, attention, and subtle concessions. Dominance is the result of invisible victories, not overt triumphs. Those who dominate rarely need to prove superiority. They allow it to be inferred. The mind that calculates too openly reveals its architecture to those who navigate emotionally. The clever exploit these architectures, redirecting effort, loyalty, and perception. Recognition of weakness is not humiliation, it is opportunity. The socially astute convert oversight into leverage invisibly and inevitably. Emotional sovereignty is the cornerstone of strategic influence. When one is unmoved, the world moves around them. Acceptance of one's inner shadow frees energy for external command. Those who flee internal conflict project vulnerability outward. To control others, one must first master self, a task more daunting than logic alone. The quiet mind sees patterns invisible to brilliance intoxicated by reason. Patience is not passive. It is the deliberate orchestration of inevitability. The game of influence favors those who wait, watch, and intercede subtly. Intelligence can inform, but it rarely compels. Influence commands, guides, and reshapes without appearing to do so. The room obeys perception before it obeys logic. Emotional control is a silent dominion that cannot be legislated or debated. Awareness of these dynamics transforms every interaction into a field of subtle contests. Those who ignore them surrender advantage to the socially literate, often unknowingly. Real power resides in the invisible, the unspoken, and the patiently orchestrated. To walk among others with this understanding is to hold authority without claim. Intelligence alone is a shadow without structure. Mastery of influence gives it form, direction, and inevitability.